And I'm talking about the government and the regime. In his latest public speech, Egyptian President Sisi said that there is a global economic crisis that Egypt is not responsible for, and the prices are soaring everywhere in the world. So do you agree with the President of Egypt? Do you think the world is facing a global inflation?
No. Inflations are always local. President Sisi is just trying to distract from the real problem, which is a local problem. And the local problem is the fact that you have a current, in particular, a currency that's really kind of junk. If you look at the pound since January 2022, little over a year ago, it's depreciated by about 47% against the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
Now they came in with a new program supposedly that was blessed by the IMF. In October 27th, 2022, they have what they call a durable but flexible exchange rate, which is a contradiction in terms, by the way. Durable, flexible exchange rate. It's a kind of a nonsense thing. But what's happened? The pound's depreciated since October 27th, 2022 by 22% against the US dollar. So as the pound goes down, inflation is imported. And why is it imported? Because of a local problem, not a global problem. The pound is a local currency. It's the Egyptian money. It isn't a global currency. In fact, no one outside of Egypt uses the pound because it's junk. It's worthless, basically. For international transactions, it's just not used.
Yeah, I think this is a very important point, Steve. However, the regime in Egypt, they always blame the pandemic, firstly. Secondly, the Russia's war in Ukraine. So do you think these are the only reasons for high inflation and economic crisis in Egypt?
No, absolutely not. China has faced the same thing, and they have an inflation rate less than 2% a year. Switzerland has the same problem as everybody else, and they have a very low inflation. Japan has the same problem as everybody else. They have the same problems that they have in Egypt and Japan, and they have a very low inflation.
So who should hold that accountable?
The reason they have low inflations in China, Japan, and Switzerland is because they control the money supply.
And why Egypt can't control the money supply?
That's actually an easy one to answer in a way. They spend a lot of money, and the central bank buys a lot of bonds issued by the government to finance the government spending. And when they buy those bonds from the government, they have to print money. And they print too much money. That's the big problem. They are not watching the money supply.